Join me as I dive into the chaotic world of American elections and try to figure out what really happens behind the scenes. American elections are the cornerstone of the democratic process. It's the way citizens get to choose their leaders, hold them accountable, and shape the future of the country. But how much do we really know about what goes on behind the scenes during an election? In this video, we're going to explore the ins and outs of the election process and uncover some surprising facts along the way. Many people think they know how elections work, but there are a lot of misconceptions out there. One of the biggest myths is that all elections are the same. That's simply not true. Federal elections, like presidential and congressional races, are very different from state and local elections. And while it's true that voting is a crucial part of democracy, it's not always a straightforward process. In fact, the rules and regulations surrounding voting can vary wildly from state to state. Another common misconception is that your vote doesn't really matter, but that's just not the case. Every single vote counts, and in many elections, it's the margin of just a few hundred votes that decides the outcome. And then there's the myth that all politicians are the same, that they're all just in it for themselves. Again, not true. Politicians are human beings with their own beliefs, values, and motivations. And the ones who get elected are the ones who are able to connect with the most people. So, what's the difference between a primary election and a general election? Why do we have an electoral college? And how does it really work? These are just a few of the questions we'll be tackling in this video. By the end of it, you'll have a much clearer understanding of the election process and maybe even be inspired to get more involved in the democratic process yourself. The election process is a long and winding road that starts months, sometimes even years before Election Day. It begins with the primaries, where each party chooses its candidate. This is where the candidates start to differentiate themselves, and the voters get their first chance to hear their platforms. Then, of course, there's the general election, where the candidates from each party face off against each other. But what about the electoral college? How do those electoral votes get allocated? And what's the magic number that candidates need to win? On Election Day, the polls open, and the voters head to the ballot box. It's a moment of high tension, as the candidates and their teams wait anxiously for the results to roll in. And then, of course, there are the swing states, the states that can go either way and often end up deciding the outcome of the election. Take Florida in 2000 or Ohio in 2004. These are the states that can make all the difference. The announcement of the results is often a dramatic moment, as the winner is declared and the loser concedes. But what about the disputes that arise when the results are close? What happens when a candidate challenges the outcome? And how is it resolved? These are all crucial questions, and ones that have been answered in some surprising ways over the years. Take the 2000 presidential election, for example. Who can forget the hanging chads and the Supreme Court drama that followed? In the end, the election process is all about choice, the choice between different candidates, different parties, and different visions for the future. And it's a choice that's only possible because of the democratic system that we have in place. So the next time you hear someone say that their vote doesn't matter, or that all elections are the same, you can set them straight. And who knows, maybe you'll even inspire them to get out and vote themselves. So, that's it for today's video. I hope you learned something new, and maybe even got a little inspired to get more involved in the democratic process. If you have any thoughts on voting, or any experiences with elections that you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more videos on politics, history, and culture. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.